Hello, my name is Garrett Sargent. I'm one of the co-founders of Simple DCP. We're a digital cinema lab based in Culver City, California. Every year we work with South by Southwest to help put movies on the big screen. It's one of our favorite events to service through the year, and we're honored to be part of such a really unique and fun event. Now, we all remember what happened March 6, 2020, when the city of Austin abruptly shut down South by Southwest less than a week before the event was to commence. The impact was immediate and devastating for all those involved. But as we know now, it was a decision that helped save lives. South by Southwest obviously wasn't the only event impacted, but it certainly was the first and hardest hit by the COVID shutdowns. Despite that, what you see now, as you fast forward a year, South by Southwest has managed to come back and deliver one of the most compelling virtual experiences that I personally have experienced through the past year. Simple DCP was privileged to be invited back as a technology partner and help develop the processes that enable teams in Austin and elsewhere to remotely collect, manage, and deliver over 500 hours of content for this year's event. It's been nothing short of astounding, and again, just the coolest thing to be a part of. We wanted to give you a little bit of insight into what goes on behind the scenes at an event like South by Southwest. So I sat down with Gabe Van Amberg and Katie Pereira to discuss how South by Southwest 21 came to be.
I'm Gabe Van Amberg with South by Southwest, and I'm the film exhibition manager and short film programmer. So, in terms of the exhibition manager in a normal festival, I handle all the print traffic for all the films coming in, as well as contracts for the venues, and with vendors bringing in projectors to build out theater spaces. But for the 2021 event, that has transitioned to a fully online event that is incorporated, print trafficking of not just the films, but the entirety of the event. That includes the conference, music fest, and comedy.
My name is Katie Pereira. I'm a conference programmer at South by Southwest. I've been here for 6 or 7 years now. And what that means is I program our conference content. So within our conference this year, we'll have over 300 sessions, and I get to help curate those, work with our speakers, and walk them through the entire process from being selected to speak through execution, what would normally be on site, but this year online.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining me again. You said 6 or 7 years, so you've had the chance to see what the festival normally operates as, and I assume you were at the festival last year.
I was.
So tell me about March 6th of last year, where you were, what was going on, and what the lead up to that was like.
Yeah, that was, to put it succinctly, a devastating day. We had worked all year. The best part of working at South by Southwest is getting to see it all come together on site, and we were almost there when the city of Austin canceled the event. And in hindsight, that was absolutely the right decision. But in the moment, it was really hard to believe it was happening. We were all sitting in conference rooms watching the presser together and just saying, like, never in 30 years have we missed a beat. We've been through a lot of adversity, and it was really tough.
We were all in the office at the South by Center, and we were all kind of like gathered, together, which is also crazy to think about, like all the employees gathered in one space to hear the news. And we were informed, I believe it was maybe just a half hour before the press conference where, the mayor shut down the festival officially. And it was tough. Like you could just like feel the wind just sucked out of the air, and it was just a lot of disbelief, kind of knowing that was probably going to happen. The events leading up to that week, we had a number of people dropping out, whether it was conference speakers or films pulling out, or all the talent for the film pulling out. So we were already facing an event with no red carpets and just kind of like playing the films in the theaters. But leading up to that, we're just kind of like taking it as it comes, be like, all right, so this is the festival that we're going to do. And then, it was like 6 days, 7 days before opening night. That's when the event was officially canceled.
How much of the year is spent actually planning for the event?
Yeah, so we normally launch our open call for entries for the conference in early June, mid June. And so, really, from June through the following March, we are all working towards the event. And pre June, we're planning, what kind of content we think is going to be most relevant and all of that. So, it is a year round job. Most people don't realize that. And we spend the better part of 10 months planning an event for the following year, as well as working on 5-year plans and 10-year plans.
The amount of planning and work it takes to put on a festival of this magnitude, and I work specifically for the film festival, and it takes the entirety of the year to be able to just pull off the film festival, and that's just one facet of what the festival actually is.
In a given year, how many, what kind of traffic does South by Southwest see?
It's massive, in a real event. I think seen somewhere the last real live event that we had, attracted something north of like 250,000 people, and we spread across the entirety of the city of, the downtown area of Austin. The music festival takes over 100 clubs and has 2,000 bands playing throughout there. We have 14 screens across 9 different venues for the film festival, where we would premiere or showcase. I think about 100 and between 125 and 135 feature films and about 120 shorts. And then we have the conference sessions that we take over the entirety of the convention center downtown and spill out into various hotels, where I think we have anywhere from 5 to 900 conference sessions, all within a 10-day event. So that's what South by had grown to be in the last couple of years.
The biggest challenge and probably the biggest benefit that we face is that South by Southwest is not just a film festival. We're not just a music festival, and we're not just a conference. We are all those things and so much more. And so finding a solution that worked for us was really difficult, because there's, quite honestly, not many events like us in the world. And so the fact that we've kept all of those components together to create an event is probably what makes me most excited. And we just have so much content. I've been sitting and looking through it all. We have hundreds of hours of content available for people, crammed into 4 days. There's still something for everybody.
So, how many people are on the South by Southwest team?
I think it's 10 if you include seasonals, but I believe it's just 8 year-round staff people on the film team to put on this massive event. And our seasonal staff starts coming in, typically in December. Most of them come in January, February, when we're getting down into the down and dirty, putting the festival together.
We had a week between when the event canceled and when we were told, hey, go work from home and see you in 2 weeks, which in hindsight, it's been 12 months. And a lot of people just, that first week was just damage control. How do we make sure we keep our community intact? How do we make the best of this bad situation? So by the time we got home, I think we were all still in shock. And so it was really weird to try and rebuild and come together and come up with a plan when we're so used to South by as a family. We're used to, on the fly meetings, walking up to people's desks, and you can't do any of that. And we've had to figure out how to adapt our working style to that, which has been really interesting.
It absolutely was, just as hard, probably emotionally harder to disassemble the event than it was to actually put it together. Working with like vendors, longtime vendors, and even then, when we didn't know the severity of the pandemic and how it was going to affect all aspects, especially the live events industry. There's people that work in music fest production. They work with a bunch of mom and pop vendors, and South by Southwest was like their event that they could bank on that, financially can carry the business for an entire year. So, at the time, it was devastating to have to make those cancellations and calls, knowing that there's going to be some businesses that would find it very difficult to bounce back from. And that was before we knew that 1 year later we would still not be having live events. So emotionally, it was definitely, I would say, harder than actually putting on the event.
South by Southwest starts turning to other alternative schemes for getting the films out there, getting the panels out there. The first and most visible thing that South by did was work out this deal with Amazon.
Yep. Every department kind of took a step back and said, okay, how can we do our best to take care of our filmmakers, our artists, our speakers, because they were so excited to speak. They had new content to share with us, and the filmmakers are in a really unique position because they kind of have a one shot to get their film in front of somebody. And for a lot of speakers, this is considered a big break. And so having this opt-in to Amazon Prime was a huge deal for them. They were able to get, so many eyes on content that they wouldn't have gotten if the festival had just simply canceled.
It all came about pretty organically. Even in those, first 48 hours when the event was canceled, we were kind of like scrambling, thinking, what are ways that we can still like patch together something so that we could have an event? Can we throw everything on YouTube? I mean, even at the time, like the company had a Zoom account before anyone knew what Zoom was. So we were thinking, well, maybe we can like Zoom some conferences together. But we quickly, within those first 48 hours, realized, there's just no way in a 5-day turnaround to take our event and deliver anything of value to registrants in that time. Though we did tirelessly try to conceivably see how we could do that, it just wasn't possible. But we didn't, let those aspirations die completely to, get something out there. And within that first week of the cancellation, we were approached by Amazon. Like they had this idea, and it came at a perfect time because we were trying to think like, what can we do for these filmmakers? Like, we really felt for, the opportunity that was kind of, taken away from them. And we know how hard that everybody worked. Is like, what can we do? We moved forward with the competition, so we were able to send links to the jury, so we could still, announce like award winners for the festival. So that was one way we were able to help the filmmakers. But the Amazon idea was like, hey, we can open up our Prime platform because we can put these films in front of the paywall and make it available to everyone. And so they approached us and we're like, yeah, let's try it. Let's see what we can do.
For speakers, we put together a summer series. And so we said, hey, we know this is not the volume of content you would normally see at South by Southwest, but we want to give you something, right? We had all these speakers we were so excited about. So we did, I think it was every other Thursday, we had some conference content. We put a lot of content up on our website. So we said, hey, if you still want to record your session, whether it's audio or video, we'll host it for you. We'll still say you are going to be a speaker at South by. Here's the content. And we actually got to run our mentor program remotely over the summer, which was huge, to connect people for networking opportunities and things like that. So it really was just, we can't do it all. What can we pull off? And then, save some bandwidth so that we can put something great together for March 2021, which I feel like we're doing.
And we knew at the very beginning that not every filmmaker would opt into it. It wasn't the right opportunity for them to just put their work out in that way, especially in the very early stages of the pandemic. I mean, back then when we were talking about this, we were like, by end of April, things are going to be back to like normal life. So they're thinking, I'll be able to have my in-person premiere at Tribeca or Cannes or somewhere else. But so reasonably, filmmakers held out and weren't going to jump at those opportunities yet. But we had 7 feature films and episodics that did take that chance, and I think we had something like 20 or 25 short films. So what was wonderful about that opportunity is it gave us a preview of what we were going to be getting ourselves into if we were to do a fully online event in the future.
To put it in perspective, we have 416 pieces of content for conference listed right now. In a normal year, we would have over 2,000.
It was a great crash course in, understanding how to put together an event online. So it ended up being, beneficial for the filmmakers that partook in that, and also for us to like lay the groundwork and kind of build from there um, to what we have now with the South by Southwest online for the 2021 event.
We're going to do an online event. We had so many questions of what is that going to look like. We had no idea when we made that announcement. We just knew that there was no way all of these people together in Austin safely. And I mean, that's first and foremost our biggest concern.
During the summer, and I would say by August, we had pretty much committed that we are going to have an online aspect of our event. August of 2020, we were very hopeful that we could have some kind of a hybrid event. We knew that even if we could have an in-person event, there's no way it would be to the scale that it was in 2019, with social distancing, with the closing of venues. So, I think at that point, our best case scenarios, we could have a very pared down in real life event, and then we would also have this online component. So that was like the germ of the idea. Once we got to October and we kind of saw where things were going, and we just had to make the commitment, and the company made the decision. It's like, all right, let's go all in on an online event. We'll still kind of hold out hope that maybe we could still do a couple of in-person events, but we know how to do that. Let's put all of our resources in figuring out how we can take South by Southwest online, how we can make it the best that it can be, and at the same time we'll have the advantage of 10 months of seeing how other festivals are pivoting to their online, and kind of observe that, see what's working, see where we could do something different, and hopefully improve upon on that. So that's pretty much where it got us to where December, it was absolute that there would be no in-person element. Like, it will be 100% entirely taking place online. This year it's going to be entirely online, so it'll be quite different, but just as expansive, I think, even in a digital space.
One of the things that has changed a lot is that a lot of our content is pre-recorded. This is done for a number of reasons: quality, bandwidth, physical bandwidth of our office on site, things like that. And so I've watched more content before the event than I've probably watched in the last 7 years of working here. I actually get to see it, which is part of why I think I'm so excited. I think a lot of what we're going to be doing on site during the event is helping people navigate. It's a new platform. It's new to everybody. South by Southwest has not been online before. And so I think our focus is going to be more on helping people figure out how to get what they want to watch and find that out. And a lot of the work that would normally be done during the event is being done right now in the weeks leading up to the event, which has been an interesting shift of what to expect in a normal February and March for us. It's a little bit more of an extended process than people might think about. Something that you and I were talking about earlier as captioning. We've never been able to provide live captioning for the number of pieces of content that we are this year. And that's huge, but it's created this huge hurdle of getting the captions and making sure they're accurate, and then getting them attached to files and things that we just never would have thought about. And so when all of that came to a halt, it was, if you have internet, keep working, great, but then the person you need something from doesn't have internet. And I think more than ever, our team, it kind of felt like right after the event had been canceled, we pulled together. I went and picked up coworkers. I have an all-wheel drive car. I had 2 coworkers staying at my house with their dogs because they lost power. And so, we found a way to get through it. We did the best we could. We, changed schedules around really quickly. We pushed recordings. We pushed everything. But ultimately, that was probably going to be the hardest thing that we hit this year, which is shocking with all the other things going around in the world, that a week without power is what was most difficult to get through.
How do you feel about where you guys have landed?
I feel really great about it. I think, I'm an optimist at heart. So even in the early stages, getting to have a crash course and, doing a very small online festival, I felt like, okay, I can kind of see how we can do this. But I'm blown away with how the entire company has come together. You know, the all the departments and the programming is just so creative and different. Whenever you attend South by Southwest online, the way you engage with all the conference stuff is different than you engage with the films, and different than how you engage with music fests and and also comedies. So I'm really impressed at how we were able to maintain our identity as a festival and create this space where all these creatives can be showcased like in one place, which is incredible. And the fact that we don't have separate tiers of access, there's just the South by Southwest online access, and then you have entree to the entirety of the event, I think is incredible. And I think we're all extremely proud and can't wait for people to experience it.
We've worked really hard to give you the best we can put forward. Um, we as a family care about what you guys think, what our attendees think. Like I said, we read all the feedback. So we want to be there to help you. And we hope that this event is as exciting to you as it is to us. We all worked really hard to pull it together, but ultimately, like, it's our speakers and our filmmakers and our artists. Without them, we don't have an event. If I don't have something to show our audience, we don't have an event. So a huge thank you to all the speakers, filmmakers, artists, exhibitors that are making the event possible. And then to the attendees who kind of stuck with us through a really tough time for us. So I'm excited to share with everybody what we have, and I hope they enjoy it too.
I'm looking forward to see what the reaction is to the event. We've been in it, we've been working really hard. It's also one of those things where at this stage, I think we're really hard on ourselves. So we see all the kinks and the cracks, and we want it to be perfect. But what what does it look like on the outside? Because they don't see all the things that um, you wish was just like tweaked just a little bit to make it perfect. So seeing what the reaction is to the event, seeing how people are engaging with the content and each other is what I'm most looking forward to with this event. And you know, it'll be the first time in the entirety of the last 10 years working for the festival that I might get to experience some of South by Southwest, and it might be on the corner of my eye, but I can have it on my TV while I'm working and get to experience a little bit of the music fest, get to see some of the conference content that I would never get to see. So I'm really excited about that.
What about the future? Has anybody started talking about South by Southwest 2022? Applying lessons learned already this year?
Yeah, I got a Slack message earlier today that was like, put this on the list for next time. I said, I'm not ready to think about next time. And this is kind of what we missed out on last year, right? We were going to have this awesome event. We're going to be able to feel the energy from it. And then we can decompress. Then we can say, okay, what worked and what didn't. And I'm sure, like many of my colleagues, I have a running list of, if this is happening again next year in any kind of capacity, here's the things we can fix. And we have the unique opportunity to do that every year. So inevitably that's going to happen. I think everybody is hoping and hopeful that we'll be able to be together in some capacity in 2022 with people in Austin. That's what really gives us the most energy. But we're going to have to see what kind of shakes out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time and talking with us about South by Southwest 2021 online. I think, from everything I've seen from my end, it looks like it's going to be an incredible event. So wishing you guys the best. And again, thank you for all the hard work and effort you guys have done to put into the festival. We're looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. And thanks to all of you for how responsive you've been. We appreciate how hard you've been working on this as well, because we would not be here without you. So
It's fun. It's interesting. It's and it's a change of pace from everything over the last year. So very welcome to have the
Good.
challenge.
That's the best part about South by. There's always something new to solve.
Yep.
Thank you guys. It wouldn't be possible without working with people like yourself and Simple DCP. I'd like literally, there's no way we'd be able to pull this off without everything that you've done for us. So thank you.